All right. Today is a very unfortunate situation, honestly, that didn't need to happen at all, but hopefully it can be remedied because Battlestate Games, the makers of Escape from Tarkov, which is the dominant extraction shooter on the market right now for the time being, have decided to go completely mask off with their greed in a way that has the community up in arms and could possibly end up in some sort of legal battle. Maybe. Because the stuff that they're pulling right now is really egregious. Short background here on my own personal history with Tarkov so people know exactly what position I'm speaking from. I played it way back in the day when it first came out, and I sucked. Dropped it almost right away, stopped caring completely, and then later, the most recent wipe actually, I started back in with a couple of friends. The gameplay you see in the background is theirs, not mine. They've been playing a lot longer than me and have way more exciting clips to offer, which led me to play quite a bit more this time, sparking a pretty high amount of enthusiasm for the game, which I'm intending to play extensively next wipe with them again. I'm no expert, not by any stretch of the imagination, but I certainly do care for the game, and one of the ways that I showed that appreciation was by purchasing what was then called the Edge of Darkness edition, which came with a pretty hefty set of bonus items. If we look here at an archived version of the webpage, we can see that there's a number of different version types, but being that I was playing with friends and taking the game kinda seriously, I went for the cream of the crop, the limited edition package, which cost $150. To be clear, I don't regret that purchase. Well, I didn't regret that purchase at all when actively using it. But now, now I have to wonder what exactly the point of supporting them was if they're willing to disrespect their community this badly and lower themselves with what can really only be described as excessive levels of greed. For anyone who doesn't know, I'll give you a really quick rundown here. Escape from Tarkov is pay to win. If you buy the better versions of the game, you get more gear at the start of the wipe, and that gear translates to a very tangible in-game advantage. I know those words are like nails on a chalkboard to people. Pay to win is universally derided as bad. But the thing about Tarkov is that being a full loot extraction shooter with realistic gunplay makes it relatively easy to get past the starting loadouts, and the real defining factors in play here are game knowledge and skill. That being said, and I'm trying to be charitable here, the $150 version absolutely has things that make the gameplay easier, or let you extract more gear safely, or store more things in your stash, etc. Meaning that while I absolutely did support this game because I enjoy it, the package that they were offering had gameplay implications that a lot of people take very seriously. Let's take a look at what those items are precisely, because it matters quite a bit for what comes next. On an archived version of their website, we can see the following. Free access to Escape from Tarkov Arena, which is a companion game with a more Call of Duty style deathmatch to it. It's honestly not that good in my opinion. That's a big one though, because it is kind of like a standalone game. Guaranteed access, instant access to closed beta, digital copy preload, huge stash size, which isn't even that big to be honest, additional equipment and resources, that's pretty big, initial standing with traders, unique ID, and then, importantly, free access to all subsequent DLCs, as well as, listed on a completely different support page, the unique 3x3 secure container. For anyone who doesn't play very much or just doesn't know, that's a lot of stuff that dramatically impacts your overall experience. However, that was the Edge of Darkness package, which is for all of us lowly stupid plebs, I guess, because now we have the Unheard edition, which is pretty disrespectful, I'm not gonna lie. This is the Unheard edition, right here on the screen. It's got a whole trailer where they announce things and puff it up and hype everybody. But I'll just read the important parts off quickly. Access to PvE co-op mode with persistent progression, meaning progression that will not reset between wipes, which is fantastic, and people have been hoping for something like that for a long time. A unique melee weapon, bigger stash, free access to all DLCs, which is odd because I thought the Edge of Darkness $150 edition came with that. Unless we're somehow in a new season, apparently, and a few more things on top. Seems pretty straightforward, right? A lot of things, but wait a second, the price tag? $250. That is wildly overpriced, no matter what you think of their company. Even the original $150 version was high, like very high, but hey, I certainly got my money's worth, so I'm not complaining on that front. However, $250 is completely egregious to a point where on principle, I simply cannot buy that. Even so, that's the least of their problems, because if all they had done was release an overpriced pay-to-win super bundle, people wouldn't even be half as angry as they are right now. See, 2 months ago, the CEO of Battlestate Games, the development company behind Escape from Tarkov, posted on Reddit pointedly advertising that an upcoming patch would have the ability to play offline co-op, and this is the best part, for Edge of Darkness owners. The CEO was on social media saying, hey guys, we're going to release this super cool thing for all you special customers who bought $150 worth of our product. And then 2 months later, they released that super cool thing behind a $250 paywall. Dude, what were they thinking with this? But wait, like an infomercial, there's more, because not only did they take this thing that was supposed to be given out to the existing player base who had purchased a particular edition, and presto changeo, no, you don't get that anymore, but the $250 super version doesn't give access to the arena mode. To be completely honest, I don't think a lot of people should give a shit about that because arena isn't nearly as popular as an offline mode, not even close. But it highlights how chopped up and parceled out the game is by a dev company that is completely succumbing to their inner voice of greed. Here's where I kinda lost it and decided I can't possibly support a game that does this. Remember that pesky little item from the Edge of Darkness edition, the unique secure container? Yeah. Battlestate Games, in real time today, went and stripped the word unique off of the website, as well as, get this, altering a segment of text that used to read, quote, free access to all subsequent DLC, Season Pass, such as Escape from Tarkov Arena, and now just says, free access to all subsequent DLC, Season Pass, end quote. I guess they just decided to go back on their word? Figured they would hide the evidence or protect themselves from a potential lawsuit? I honestly don't know. It doesn't make any sense. The changes happened on April 25th, which is precisely when a particular large streamer, I think, was apparently calling them out for that bit of language, which would then mean that someone from the company watched a stream on Twitch, saw someone criticize them for being greedy and tone deaf on this new $250 bundle, and then deleted the word unique as well as any reference to the arena mode so that they would, look better? Stop people from noticing? They already noticed, bro. What is the logic here? As if to solidify an atmosphere of we have no idea what we're doing right now and the intern is running the social media, Battlestate Games went on Twitter during this controversy to directly call out one of their competitors who was attempting to gain market share from Tarkov during all the backlash, which might seem like a good idea if you're 17 years old and never discovered how social media actually works, but really all they're doing is broadcasting a separate place for their own customers to go after they decided that outright lying to everyone was a super good idea. Meanwhile, there's a massive level of excitement building right now for another extraction shooter called Gray Zone, meaning that not only did they choose greed over community sentiment, just point blank, with a $250 bundle that never should have existed in the first place, they also did it right before their own community has a heavyweight viable alternative to them, meaning what exactly? Are they scared about the future of the product and monetizing as heavily as possible before that happens? Are they actually tone deaf enough to where this made sense to someone internally and they thought, yeah, let's lie to everybody? Or is it like some twisted comedy of errors where no one actually knew the full story and the left hand couldn't see what the right hand was doing? Like they had no idea what was happening, which is how they ended up with the CEO claiming one thing on social media right before they released one of the most overpriced DLCs in history, which completely contradicts him. Their Discord server is in open rebellion, flooding the chat rooms with copy-pasted criticism of the company's decision-making process. Their Reddit mods are, quote, just as livid about the situation as you are, end quote, and have now suspended some of the subreddit's own rules so that people can flood it with criticism, right? They're getting rid of rules to make it so that you can spam the subreddit more with criticism of BSG, Battlestate Games. Usually when these type of situations happen, there's like a diehard holdout coalition of superfans who try and fight back on behalf of the company against every single thing that the haters say. But Battlestate Games has no one. I don't think I've seen a single person, actually, defending them on this, like not a single one, which is about as rare as a total solar eclipse or something. You have to screw up unbelievably bad to make it so that even your own Reddit mods turn against you. Oh, remember that unique melee weapon? Yeah, it's a knife, and apparently it's just a stock asset from the Unreal store, which is fine. In the grand scheme of things, that's a really small criticism to have here. But it speaks to the fact that their community sentiment has been completely destroyed on a scale that you don't often see in video games. You get these black swan events sometimes, Anthem, Fallout 76, etc. But by and large, when talking about an established game at least, you typically don't see this level of backlash. Regardless, I hopped over to my studio tonight to talk about all this because oddly enough, Tarkov has been one of the games I'm most looking forward to. The prospect of playing another wipe with my group of friends, especially now that I know the game quite a bit better, is that good old-fashioned excitement that video games sometimes offer on rare occasion. But this whole thing left a really sour taste in my mouth because what? Now I have to upgrade the edition that you told me would have these cool features, and it's a $250 edition that you decided to whatever, man. They blatantly lied. How does that seem fair? Anyway, Tarkov just lit their community on fire. I have no idea if they will ever even acknowledge that because their MO is typically radio silence on stuff like this as much as possible, but we'll see. Remains to be seen. Yeah, not sure. If you like the content and you want to support the channel, there are links down below in the description. There's a massive discount deal on a VPN for anyone who wants one. Check that out. Locals and Patreon, etc., etc., but I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching and have a nice night.